All right, Mike, go ahead.
All right, we have David here, and just an FYI for tomorrow, we are going to do Binnington at 9 a.m., Petro at 10:30, and Ryan O'Reilly at noon. So go ahead, JT, go ahead with David.
David, thanks for doing this after the game, and justifiably so. You said it was kind of tough to collect your thoughts on the series and everything. It's only been a couple days, but just looking for your thoughts on maybe why things didn't click the way you guys wanted to in the series.
Yeah, to be honest with you, it's still pretty fresh. I watched the first two pairs of that game yesterday, Vegas, Vancouver, and turned it off. Still kind of opened up the wound again that I was disappointed that we lost, and I feel like we should have won that series. And again, there's things that I said that I still believe. You see the energy that Vegas got right now. They can go through anything if they keep that up. It's pretty unique. It's pretty special to see that, and it is a tough time to get yourself going. Maybe at times, maybe some guys felt that way. I'm not exactly sure, but you got to find a way. You got to do it within the group, on the bench, and not wait for anything else on the outside, because obviously there's no crowd, there's no nothing. The pressure of the games is a lot different than usual. Like there's not much, to be honest with you, when you go into a game normally on the road. In Winnipeg, let's say, you know how hard it's going to be. The crowd's going to get on top of you. You got to manage all that. This one, you just got to go out and play, and we didn't do a good enough job to manage that part.
You know, a momentum and energy can be such an ephemeral thing. You know, it kind of comes and goes. How do you get that? Or is that just something as a professional hockey player that you should know how to get to, you know, right when a game starts?
Yeah, I think it's both. Certain guys probably thrive on fans a lot more than we think. I mean, I thought I did too, but I felt pretty good up there. So I don't know. I think it's up to each individual to get yourself ready. Not only during this whole time that we were off, to train as hard as we can so that you're ready whenever it was going to start. It was hard to stay sharp mentally. You never know if it was going to last 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a month, and then after 3 months, maybe it was not just going to be canceled. So I'm not sure how each guy's manage that throughout the league, but you can tell that some teams, their guys, their individual got really prepared, and I don't know if we lacked in that department or not, but it was evident from the first 3 games that we didn't grab our game the way we needed to have success there.
Hey, David, it's Jeremy. There's a picture going around of you and Petro skating off the ice, and you got your arm around him. Were you kind of showing him support there, heading off the ice? And who knows what's going to happen there, but you've had to leave the organization before. Just how tough are those feelings?
Yeah, it's very hard. I've seen this picture flow around. I mean, I didn't do that thinking there was going to be a pictures taken, but yeah, I mean, I could tell Petro was feeling it pretty good there. He was pretty choked, to be honest with you, and it got me choked up a little bit too. Even thinking about it right now, talk about it, I really hope he's going to be around. I'm really good friends with him and his family. We've played a long time together now, and we're always going to be close regardless of what happens. But there's a business side of things here that could alter things. Maybe, I don't know. I don't want to get in that because it's not really my thing. It's his and the team, and I don't know too much about the situation other than I really support him. I support him for anything he's gonna choose to do, and that's really my comments on that. But yeah, that picture was, I just kind of felt like he was maybe thinking, who knows, maybe it could be his last moments or not as a Blue, and I just felt like I had to be there for him.
Hey, David, Lou here, and like you said, it's not your choice. It's a management thing. But as a teammate and as a friend of his, if you could make one pitch for him as to why you want to see him back here and just how much he means to you guys, what would it be?
Just so he can buy more houses in St. Louis. The guy's might as well be a realtor. He loves going around town and thinking he can look at different places. I think obviously they love St. Louis. Janie's from St. Louis. I don't think there's a doubt that he would like to stay in that part. I'm honestly just gonna stay out of it, to be honest with you. From my own perspective, all I can tell is obviously you go in other places sometimes it doesn't always play out the way you'd like. Maybe if you think it's the perfect situation, it doesn't turn out to be. Uh, Even coming back to St. Louis for me, I'm sure there's some fans that weren't sure about David Perron the third time, but it went pretty good so far. And so you just try to make the best of it every place you go. I went to Pittsburgh and I thought it was going to be maybe the best situation for my career, and it probably was the one I enjoyed the least. Maybe with Edmonton, with the way that we were losing there, just because the way it turned out, I couldn't find my game there, and it's very hard. Petro's our leader, probably our best player most nights with O'Reilly. And the way he played this year with this whole situation, to me, was extremely impressive. We play our whole careers to win the cup, and I think he wants to feel like he's respected. He wants to feel like he gets his share of things, and I think he deserves it too.
David, how was the homecoming for you? I assume you're back in Canada now?
Yeah. So I wasn't sure, to be honest with you. It went so quick, and I can't believe I was able to make a quick decision like that. I was still hoping we were going to play, and my parents were going to drive down the family. Mason, our 5-year-old son, starts school in St. Louis this week at some point, or maybe Monday. They're really good with us. It's his first year, so maybe they're going to let us till next Monday. While I sort things out. So now that we lost, I kind of made a quick decision to fly home the next day and just get back here, really. And as you can tell right now, I'm in the car right now, just getting some stuff at the grocery and just trying to get packed up so we can drive down with the whole family. And I'll be basically in St. Louis the whole time. There's a couple things hockey related that I have to take care of too, just injury wise, maybe get some checkup on things and that we're nagging even through this whole thing. So hopefully it turns out good.
What was it like to see your family after a month away?
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, it's obviously they had to sacrifice a lot. And then we did too, to go over there. I know it was one of the hardest things for a lot of guys with kids to do. The 2-hour difference for me was tough because you get up in the morning after 8:30, 8:45 start, which was in Edmonton. You go to bed maybe at 2 a.m. You get up at like 10, 11 the next day. It's already 1 p.m. here. They're in the middle of their day. You talk to them for 10, 15 minutes. You go on to your meeting, eating all that stuff. And then next thing you know, they're going to bed. So that's the toughest thing. You didn't get to talk to them as much as you'd like, but I mean, they were supportive, everyone's supportive for us to try and get that second cup. We didn't play the way we'd like, and that's really, at the end of the day, what's very disappointing to me. It doesn't sit well still. It's very hard to understand how we couldn't really just follow up our game at certain times. We had really, really, really good spurts, and then for the next 10 minutes wasn't so good. Disappointing.
David, you guys went through so much this season. Is there a way to put it into words remember all the stuff at the beginning of the season, the rings, the banner, the White House, then, you have the Jay Bomeister incident, then the pause and then an early exit. Is there a way now that you can just sum up what a strange ride this has been for you guys?
Yeah, pretty strange. I mean, it is what it is. We went through it with the rest of the league, like you said. Did I wish we would have a second run at it, defending our title in front of our fans, in front of other buildings? Would it have been different? I think it would have, to be honest with you. I really think it could have changed something. Again, the pressure of games up there is different. I mean, for me, I said that before to you, Jim. You asked me a question, I was going to go. I was really against this whole thing from a long time. And I really, once you get there, I think you change your mind. You're there, might as well do it. You're going to work as hard as you can. And that's what I did. And it wasn't as bad. You play so many tournaments growing up, no fans. I said that before, roller hockey tournaments, anything, summer tournaments. And knowing how competitive that I am, I knew I would come up to the challenge. But it certainly was a worry as a group. And I think it affected us a bit for sure.
You also mentioned I think at the start of phase 3 that you really didn't like the seeding idea, that for a team like you guys that through 71 games were the best team in the conference, that, maybe a couple
I
off
still didn't,
days
I
and
still don't like it. It's it's not right. Like, you play 71 games to have 3 games matter the most, really. We saw how Boston, how Washington went through the same thing. So yeah, that's disappointing. That part's disappointing. I mean, we're not the only teams. A team like Pittsburgh were really close to being in the top 4 in the East, I believe. They ended up having to play Montreal and they lose. So that's tough for them too. At the end of the day, we had to come up and just adjust to whatever situation, and we didn't do a good enough job. But yeah, like I do think the 71 game season should have mattered a lot more for us to have that short of an off season last year, and to manage to have this regular season through all the stuff that you mentioned. We had to grind a lot. We had to go through a lot of things. It took a lot out of us. And I don't know what it was, but we just couldn't grab it back again for one more time. And it takes a lot of energy to stay at the top of the standings after the offseason we had. Guys were still injured, many little injuries that are just nagging, like I was mentioning about myself. But there's 20 other guys that are going through that same thing. And it was just tough to manage. You had to stay sharp. You had to keep training, stay ready. And we just didn't play good enough up there.
did it seem more like work for you guys this year than say last year?
Let's be honest. It's never work. I always remember this about guys that I played, top players in the league like Crosby. They enjoyed that part so much, and that's what I did this year. What I was going through kind of this year, injury wise, all that stuff, and just to having to show up the next day and still be able to play as good as you can. That's what it's all about. Yes, it's tough. It's grinding. It grinds you mentally, but I think that's what athletes do. And again, there's 20 other guys in the room that did the same thing.
Hey, David, I'm just curious where, when you sit back, and maybe it's too soon right now, where do you feel like this group can go from here? And as a player, you don't make player decisions and personnel decisions. That's obviously going to come from upstairs. But do you feel like there's still a good window with this group that maybe you can get back to where you were last year and how you guys were able to perform this year in the regular season? Do you still feel like that window's there?
Yeah, I mean, it certainly is. I hope the younger of guys to get back to winning. For me, it's interesting because I went to the finals 2 years ago, won last year. And I honestly went into this thinking we just weren't going to lose. Like, it hurt me so much when we lost, to be honest with you. It took a lot out of me. You invest so much, and you go through all the struggles, playoff-wise, all that stuff, losing in first round, sometimes with St. Louis, sometimes with other teams, thinking it's going to be maybe you'll never get there in the finals, maybe you'll never win. And then once you go twice, you feel like you're never going to leave that part, and you want to work as hard as you can to stay there. And I just hope that guys go home and then we get the hunger again to do it. I think we should feel really comfortable with our group. I mean, you had Vladdy, Bozy, Steiner of our main older guys that bring a lot of guidance to the group that weren't playing in a lot of those games. And that changes our lineup, our depth, which is really a strength for our team. So yeah, I think we really have a chance to keep doing it. I think we have a really good team. And again, I don't make the decisions. Got to be a lot of things that can happen. But for me, I think we can do it. We just have to believe in our team identity. When we did it against Vancouver, you look at the Corsi, all that stuff, the puck possession time, we were killing them. But we just didn't do it long enough, and wave after wave.
David, the summer, which is almost over, this off season, what's it going to be like for you? Not exactly sure when the next season starts. How are you going to approach your off season?
Yeah, it's going to be the same thing, pretty much in the last 5-6 months, which is hard. You want to have time where you can just completely unplug, and I think for the next month or so, it's really going to be important guys do that. I think we will do that. Mostly after what we lived, like Jim was bringing up throughout the whole year, including the J-Bow, which obviously we missed a lot. But Yeah, I think it's important for me. I just honestly, I can't wait to get back to St. Louis, get my kid going in school and maybe minor hockey. I mentioned a couple of things to look at, and then who knows, maybe there'll be some procedures to do or not after that. I just want to get healed up, feel good about myself, feel good about my body, so I can start training as hard as I can to get back and keep improving for next year.
David,
Go ahead. Go ahead,
can I ask just two follow-ups? One, I wanted to ask you, we've talked a lot about Tarasenko and what you missed with him, but how about Steen, not having him in the lineup?
Yeah, again, Steener's a guy that brings a lot of guidance, the way we play as a group. The role that he did last year, going from basically a guy that was playing top two lines for most of his career to going down the fourth line and having one of the better fourth lines in the whole playoff, scoring those guys were scoring important goals. You see Vancouver, Mott, Beagle, those guys scored big goals. Virtanen scored a couple, I think, against us as well. That's what you need. You need scoring from everywhere to have a chance to win in the playoffs. And so he's a guy that, again, he brings the guidance. He brings a little bit of the culture, the team identity. Back when we start slipping, start losing it, he's a guy that goes on the ice either with his words or with his action going on the ice, brings it back. And the depth, we were affected for sure when if we had, like, let's say Barbie and Sonny and Steiner play together, I really think our identity would look a little bit different.
Yeah, and last thing I wanted to ask you about your game and your career. It seems like you get better as your career goes on. I mean, how is that possible?
Just following your steps, Jim. That's all it is. Just following you, buddy. No, I don't know. Again, the few times in my career where I had really good chemistry with guys, I can basically be honest. I think the two times it really clicked with guys was with Ryan Getzlaf in Anaheim, and O'Reilly for a long time. Obviously, we played the last 2 years for the most part together, and I'm very fortunate that it clicks with him that well because he's one of our most, if not most important player. He plays the right way. We see the game very similarly, as you can tell, in puck possession, not losing pucks, keeping pucks alive, being strong on our sticks in the O zone. And then obviously defensively he does so many things well as well. I'm not the greatest skater, and he's not either. And I think it goes well in the sense that we kind of like go up to the plate together at the same time. We kind of see things at the same speed. And he's just a very intelligent player, smart player in many aspects. So for me, I just want to keep getting better. I want to keep improving. I want to be ready so that I keep having that opportunity, putting myself in a place where I can play those minutes with him and even take on some more.
So you can follow Jim's lead and play into your 60s?
There you go. I like that question. I don't know. Like, I want to. You never know. When you sign a contract, you never know when it's going to be the last one. And people always worry about guys when they get into the 30s, how their game's going to go. And it's been interesting for me so far the first 2 years of my 30s. So I really want to keep improving. I think I proved this year for the first time I was basically more on the first power play, 5-on-3s, 4-on-3s in overtime, 3-on-3. I really never had that. If you look at my career, I never really had that consistently. And as a player, that's something you really want to have. And on top of having it, I'm doing it with guys that I click really well. With Schenner, same thing. With Petro, Schwartzy, our power play this year was really good. I think we were third in the league, and I don't remember in St. Louis all my years that we were that high as a group. So it was really fun to play with those guys. I think Mark Savard's another really smart guy that I hope we bring back. He's one of the main reasons why our power play was this high, to be honest with you. And that's what I believe.
Everybody good?
Yeah.
I think so.
Yep.
Thanks for riding with me in the car, guys. Sorry about that.
Thanks,
No
David.
problem. Au revoir.
Thanks, David.
Sounds good. Thank you. Have a good one, guys. Bye.
Take care.